Good morning, VCs, founders, and the entre-pro-curious. You're here, and you've made it. It's Venture Daily with me, Peter Saddington. Make sure you smash the like button now that you're here. Subscribe and let other people know. We have a great show for you today, guys. I am actually pretty excited about reading in this article because I actually haven't read it yet, but the clickbaity title got me fixed. So I want to see what this guy has to say when it comes to VC confessions. That's right. Venture capital confessions. The question you should all ask your potential investors. Got me shook. Got me wondering here, guys. So I want to go over this article today, and then, as you guys well know, we're going to cover venture deals for today, the last day of the week, guys. Enjoy it. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And then we're going to go into the final word with me. I'm going to talk about why it's important to have a growth mindset. You guys ready? Let's do it, guys. Man, I am glad to be here. I just love being part of your day, guys. Let's jump into this. This is from John Greathouse, VC Confessions. The question you should all ask all of your potential investors. So if you're a founder, operator, or the entrepreneur curious, you probably want to listen in. I've been a venture capital investor for nearly 15 years. During this time, entrepreneurs seeking funding seldom ask me my anti-portfolio. The anti-portfolio. I found this surprising, as a discussion of my deals that got away would have given them an understanding of my self-awareness, accountability, and character. This is kind of like some humble bragging here going on. But I like it. I can dig it. Anti-portfolio, maybe that's the context. Now, remember, I haven't read this article just yet. And what he means when he says anti-portfolio, I bet what he means is all the investment deals that didn't go well, or all the other investments that he's made that have fallen by the wayside. You see, this is one of the problems with venture capital. It's opaque. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the anti-portfolio. But I might be jumping in too soon here. Let's see what John has to say. An investor's anti-portfolio are the deals which they pursued but did not invest. Okay.
Nope.
So I stand corrected. This is even more of a humble brag than this is. This is a bigger humble brag than I thought. Like, according to him, the anti-portfolio are the deals in which he did not invest. So who's to know what you could have invested in or what not? Is this going to turn out to be one of those, I could have invested in Uber, I could have invested in tweeters, I could have invested in Facebook? I've seen a lot of that on the VC Twitter. Either on their own volition or because they were shut out by other investors. The definition of an anti-portfolio company varies by investor, as some include deals in which they simply heard the founder's pitch, while others only count deals in which they engage with the founders in a meaningful level. Whatever the definition, the manner in which an investor conducts this seemingly innocent conversation can provide entrepreneurs with invaluable insights. Actually, I would go even farther. I think it should be a requirement, and I say this with a small r, not a capital R, but I would say that as the venture capital world changes and shifts, remember, that's one of the reasons I'm here, because venture capital is changing. It's shifting. It's time to level up. And if venture capital is changing and shifting, I think it's important for all venture capitalists to show us their anti-portfolio, show us their entire portfolio. Increasing transparency is what the millennials and the Generation Z want. You didn't read the articles about what millennials and Generation Z want? They want transparency. They want choice. Getting back to this article, whatever the definition of the manner in which an investor conducts this seemingly innocent conversation can provide entrepreneurs with invaluable insights. So what's John's anti-portfolio? Well, my anti-portfolio includes Uber. There you go, Twilio. So he talked to these guys, Hotlook, Scopely, and ZipRecruiter. For those interested, I linked to articles which describe the reasons I passed on Uber and Twilio. Ooh, some social validation there. Most recently, Honey announced a $4 billion acquisition by PayPal. I met with one of the founders during 2013 when the company was raising its seed round, and I conducted a couple of diligence calls. I liked the team, but I passed because I was convinced that FANG, or the Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, would kill the current crop of ad tech startups. This turned out to be mostly right, but very wrong in the case of Honey. I also was concerned about the startup's reliance on Amazon as a single point of failure. Interestingly, soon after Honey's acquisition, Amazon announced concerns about the security and the company's Chrome plugin. This is interesting. There's been a lot of pundits around Honey and whether it truly is worth the money. Maybe. Nope. Maybe not. Although my anti-portfolio would have generated handsome returns to my VC fund, missing great deals is part of the venture investing game. Investors' mistakes can be categorized as false positives or false negatives. In the startup world, the former happens when an investor makes a bad investment, and the latter occurs when they miss a great opportunity. For the high-volume seed funds, such as the 500 Startups or Techstars, which invest in hundreds of companies annually, the cost of a bad affirmation decision, or a false positive, is relatively low, since it accounts for a relatively small portion of the total capital. In contrast, I've always been a low-volume, high-conviction venture investor, pretty much like everybody else. I love it. When you only make a handful of new investments each year, it is especially costly in dollars and effort expended to invest in a startup that does not succeed. Thus, despite the potential returns represented by my anti-portfolio, I sleep well. I guess you can if the other portfolio items are doing well. Knowing that it's okay for me to occasionally miss a great deal. So as long as the companies I do invest in generate outstanding returns. Like fishing, it sucks when the big one gets away, but if you still catch a hefty basket of fish, life's good. That's a good way of looking at it. Lessons learned or not? Well, the relationship between an investor and an entrepreneur is often described as a marriage. Wrong. Though painful, marriages can be unilaterally ended. In contrast, equity investments are more analogous to blood relatives. Love them or hate them, you cannot divorce your crazy uncle. As such, entrepreneurs must carefully determine who to let into their startup family. Now, this is one of those ideas that I've talked about a lot when it comes to the investor relationship between the investor and the founder. Is it like a marriage? I would agree. It's not. However, it is a relationship that should be highly regarded, and I'll go even farther. I would say that the founder needs to make sure that the VC holds up their end of the deal. And you might be wondering, well, what does that mean? What does it mean for the founder to make sure that the venture capitalist holds their end of the deal? Well, according to the VC's website, they're more than just check writers, right? They're there to help you, coach you, mentor you, grow you to be a successful early tech startup. So, how is that happening, you wonder? How is that happening, I wonder? That's why I'm here, guys, to help level up the VC game. We need to give more value. We need to spend more time with the founders and make sure all of them become successful human beings, not just a big dollar sign on the investment portfolio Excel sheet. It's easy to be gracious when you win, but the disappointment of loss often brings out someone's true character. Because of this reality of human nature, the way an investor discusses their anti-portfolio can give you a peek at their soul. Gracious or churlish? Part of your diligence process as a founder is to include speaking with the founders and CEOs within the investor's portfolio. 100%. I completely agree. Part of the diligence process of a founder should be speaking to the other founders in the portfolio. Why? And I'll give you the question here if you're a founder or operator. The question is simply to ask them, how were you treated? The other founders, if they are honest and truthful, they will tell you exactly how they were treated by that investor. And that is what matters. Someone who had a meaningful interactions with a potential investor but did not consummate a deal is in a unique position to share how the investor comported themselves once they realized they were not going to invest in the anti-portfolio founder. If the investor passed on the deal, how did they convey the news? Were they willing to be helpful, or did they immediately ghost the founder after passing? I can tell you guys that just like every other operator and founder out there, I've been ghosted way too many times, and it's put such a sour taste in my mouth. I just can't believe it. I can believe by now because I've been in this game long enough. But I'll tell you, it's fascinating. I'm still surprised sometimes. Let's put it this way: I'm still surprised and how many venture capitalists literally don't care about their reputation. And what I mean by that is how they behave, how they respond to founders is so telling about what type of people they are. And when they just ghost you, I know it's one signal, guys, but if someone just ghosts me, it tells me a lot. It tells me a ton. I'll just leave it there. Such back-channel references are also an opportunity to compare the investor's description of why the anti-portfolio deal did not come to pass with the founder's perspective. If the two stories are dramatically different and you have no reason to disbelieve the anti-portfolio founder, run. If a would-be investor is willing to rewrite history over a lost deal, it's likely to lose relationship, and the truth is a pattern rather than an anomaly. This is exactly why I wrote the hashtag #ProofOfVC blog on vchunting.com. This is exactly the entire idea. Let's get a better perspective of how these founders are behaving to their portfolio of founders. If we can know that, then we can really understand the proof of VC algorithm, which is, are they really providing value? Are they really a good venture capitalist? Right now, we do not have the tools. Think about this, guys. We do not have the tools to help us understand who the good VCs are and who aren't. Maybe, just maybe, what I'm doing in our other segment, VC hunting, is trying to alleviate that problem, trying to solve that problem by creating a backlog of videos and interviews on video, not just audio, because audio is not enough these days, on video, to ensure that future founders and operators know the people behind the money. I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work here, guys. Hubris or humility? Oh, maybe I have too much hubris here, guys. Humility? Well, some investors love to talk about their successes, while seldom acknowledge their mistakes. This is a truism. Exceptions exist, such as Paige Craig, who described how he missed out becoming Airbnb's first investor. Bessemer Ventures devotes a page on their site to their anti-portfolio, along with a brief explanation as to why they passed on such a deal. This is good. I like this type of transparency. Even so, some investors prefer to bury their failures under 6 feet of denial, becoming concerned if your question elicits a defensive or evasive reply. So, do they externalize or internalize? Successful investors typically operate under the ethos of accountability, or at least that's what they say. Such investors internalize setbacks by honestly assessing what went wrong in order to avoid similar mistakes in the future. This mentality maximizes their ability to learn from their missteps. To determine your investor's level of accountability, ask her what she learned from her anti-portfolio deals. If it's apparent she didn't learn anything substantive, consider alternative sources of capital. And to everyone out there, yes, the answer is there are thousands of individuals, thousands of venture firms out there that are willing to give you money. And so you have to choose wisely, if you're an operator or founder, who you're going to be getting into bed with, and making sure that you're holding them accountable to their side of the deal. According to their website, they're there to help you in massive ways. So you know what? Take their money, take the check, but ask them to help you in massive ways. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or reply to our daily newsletter if you think I've missed something here. But I think it's important for founders, not just venture capitalists, founders to ask the questions. I think the onus, however, is on venture capitalists to reveal their anti-portfolio, not just deals they passed on. I'd go even farther. The failure portfolio. Which of their startups did they invest in that didn't work out, and why? And what did they do about it? How do those founders feel? Maybe they were left in the dark. Maybe they were coached appropriately, but we don't know, because often that is opaque and not transparent. There are opportunities for the venture capital world to improve, my friends. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. True startup story, guys. You got it. Your company just got seed round financed. Congratulations. You're going to the moon. But now you have to scale. You found great talent out in California, New York, Georgia, and even Eastern Europe. So what communications platform will you be using to ensure your international team is always aligned? Well, the answer is easy. Slack.com for Teams. We've used Slack for all of our previous startups, and they've supported us in tremendous ways. And we want to give them a thanks today for supporting vchunting.com. Did you also know that Slack is a great tool for personal use? Yeah, I use my own personal Slack channel to drop in documents, notes, to-dos, and follow-ups to ensure that my workflow throughout the day is right on course. I promise you, if you try out slack.com for personal use, you'll end up using it for your team as well. Go to slack.com to check it out. Well, welcome back everyone to Venture Daily, the #1 fastest growing daily show in all of venture media. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of your day. I just love it. It's great to engage with you guys and connect with you guys all over the world, especially my peoples, especially my peoples all over the world. We'll just leave it that way. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at AgilePeter. I'm always tweeting about what's going on so you can stay up to date. And there's a lot of content that we push to Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. And you can follow that on TikTok and Instagram at VC Hunting. We're always loading up stuff there, so make sure that you check that out. Obviously, every day we're dropping a daily email from 6 to 10 p.m. every day. I'm changing that window because I'm sometimes sending stuff out closer to 10 of all the news that you can use. So make sure that you sign up in the links below in the show notes for our daily email campaigns. Now we're getting into venture deals for today, January 7th, 2020. This is where the money is going, and this is where the money is flowing. As a venture capitalist, it's important for you to know where the deals are happening. Roofstock, an Oakland, California-based online marketplace for investing in single-family rental home sector, raised $50 million in Series D funding. SVB Capital led the round. Komodo Health, a healthcare data platform, raised $50 million in Series C funding. Andreessen Horowitz led the round. Paternize, a UK-based SaaS partner automation platform, raised $50 million in funding. Estelle KKR led the round. Vecno Robotics, a Cambridge, Massachusetts-based workflow orchestration and self-driving forklift provider, raised $50 million in Series B funding. What's going on? It's $50 million, $50 million, $50 million, $50 million, guys. Advantia Health, an Arlington, Virginia-based provider of women's healthcare, raised $45 million in funding from Blue Mountain Capital Management. Congratulations. Kairos, a Boston-based provider of search and scheduling solutions for health systems, raised $42 million in Series D funding. Venrock and Highland Capital Partners co-led the round. Soul Machines. Ooh, I like this. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to click it immediately because it's a cool name. That's why it's important to have cool names, guys. What are Soul Machines? The future of human-machine cooperation? Say hi to Sam and Roman. These guys aren't even real. They're not even real people. Soul Machines, a New Zealand-based developer of emotionally responsive avatars, raised $40 million in Series B funding. Talk about, I'm going to use this word. It's not a negative. It's just coming from my gut, guys. Talk about creepy. Some creepy ass shit, guys. Oh man, $40 million in Series B funding. Temasek led the round. Well, congratulations, guys. That's cool. Soul Machines. It's like harvesting my soul. Corvus, a Boston-based provider of commercial insurance products, raised $32 million in Series B funding. Obvious Ventures and Telstra Ventures co-led the round. Congratulations. Outlier.org, a Brooklyn-based online education platform whose courses earn students transferable college credit, raised $11.7 million in Series A funding. That is cool. Big time. Let's click on that, guys. Outlier.org. I was talking with Sean Burns from Outlier.ai, data analytics for enterprises. But look at this. This is big time. There's going to be a lot more companies coming into the education space, and the reason is because education is so broken, guys. But it's important. These are important to know that these types of startups are coming out here, guys. Great. More self-led education. I'm all about it. I have a note right down here. You guys know I have sticky notes all over my desk. Guys, self-learners, guys who self-educate, that's the future. That's the future. You don't need colegio. You don't need universidad. You don't need to go to university, guys. If you're a astute, assertive individual, you can build your own future through self-education. That's what I did. Though I do have 3 master's degrees, but all that means is that I have enough information to tell you that university might not be worth it. Docket, an Indianapolis-based software-as-a-service platform for managing intelligent meetings, raised $1.5 million in seed funding. Maybe they only raised 1.5 because meetings suck. It doesn't matter doesn't matter what type of software you have. Meetings are always going to suck. Sorry, guys. Sea Star Beachwear, a New York-based creator of water-friendly espadrille, I don't even know what that is, raised $1.25 million in seed funding. Congratulations. Insight Partners agreed to acquire Veeam Software in Alpharetta, Georgia. That's where we go, guys. Insight Partners. We're going to make sure that we click on this. Insight Partners agreed to acquire Veeam Software, an Alpharetta, Georgia-based developer of backup and disaster recovery solutions, in a deal valued approximately $5 billion. You know we love supporting Atlanta startups. I'm in Atlanta. Remember my choice. Man, congratulations. Single platform for cloud and virtual. Congratulations, Veeam. Congratulations. Imperial Dade acquired American Paper and Plastics, a city of Industry, California-based supplier of food packaging products. Freeman and Spogli and Company acquired Easy Ice, a Marquette, Michigan-based provider of commercial ice machine rental and related services. Marlin Equity Partners acquired Yarrow, a Chicago-based provider of benefits navigation and care guidance solutions. Yarrow will be merged with Virgin Pulse. Copley Equity Partners made an investment in Gregory FCA in Ardmore, Pennsylvania-based public relations firm. And last but not least, Galen Partners acquired Evolve Treatment Centers, a Los Angeles-based adolescent behavioral services provider. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are the venture deals for January 17th, 2020. This is where the money is going, and this is where the money is flowing, guys.
Did you know that there's even more value than just audio or video? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at VC Hunting, and make sure to sign up for the VC Hunting newsletter, where you'll be able to get weekly news on venture capital, startups, founder stories, and the occasional wisdom extracted from Peter's brain. Go to vchunting.com to sign up. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to the final word on Venture Daily. It's me. Let's talk about growth mindset, my friends, growth mindset. So it's early in the morning still, but still before noon. And the first thing that I did this morning is I woke up and I got ready and I went on out to Starbucks. Some of you guys might have seen the tweet. But I went out to Starbucks to meet with a guy who runs a small consultancy, runs a small agile software development consultancy. And I just loved so much the conversation that we had. And maybe it's just the seasonality. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's just the seasonality of the seasons, and maybe that's just what's on our minds. But one of the things that I really loved, and I want to talk about with you guys briefly here, is a growth mindset. You see, I have a growth mindset. And this is one of the things that I because this is the first time that we were meeting, and he was talking with me about how I could maybe help them grow their consultancy from a brand perspective, from a marketing perspective, having been an agile consultant for a decade plus now, and a startup founder, and clearly a brand marketer. I know a lot. I've learned a couple things, and so we were talking about this. And one of the first things I said to him, which I think is important for setting context when you're ever talking with individuals around any type of partnership or helping out, is I wanted him to understand, first and foremost, my values and my purpose. And I think this is a good thing for any of you entrepreneurs, any founders, or the entre-procurious out there. I think it's important that whenever you have these types of conversations, you level set. Give them context for where you're coming from. And so I gave him context. I told him I said three things in terms of my values: faith, family, freedom. Faith, family, freedom. Faith, easy to understand. Family, he gets it. Freedom. I generally have to explain that just with a little qualification. Freedom to me means give me the opportunity to work within the context of this relationship with freedom. Allow me to do my best work. Allow me to apply myself wholly to whatever we're engaged in. Don't constrain me, and allow our conversations to emerge into opportunities over time. That's what it's all about. Don't constrain me. I enjoy my autonomy. I enjoy my freedom as a consultant, as a founder, operator. I get to choose the life that I want. And so I think it's important for him or anyone to understand that this is what I value. And so don't get into conversations around, hey, we need to have you do this or have you do that. It's always going to be a conversation. We will come to terms and agree on the tactical, how we're going to execute it. But after I tell people, my values, I tell them my purpose. My purpose is very simple. It's always G, growth. Growth, 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 growth. Whatever I'm doing, I want to help grow that thing. Whether it's I'm consulting with a startup or whether I'm consulting with a Fortune 500 company CEO and the executive team, the idea is growth. How can we grow people, not technology, but people? How can we invest our time in people who can do better work? And so having that growth mindset is something that I am innately in tune with. Anything that I do, I want there to be some semblance of growth that comes out of it, whether it's personal, your personal brand, your personal marketing, your personal hustle, your personal startup, or whether you're a manager at a large IT company. I want my job, the work that I do, to have purpose in that I want growth to be a big part of it, whether we're growing people, employees, or what have you. Make sense? And so I told him this, and it was great because it level set the context for our conversation. And what was great is he replied in turn. He's all about the growth too. And it wasn't just a tit for tat. Peter, you're all about growth. I'm all about growth. It was true. The way that he communicated was true, that he's into ensuring helping people level up, not just selling companies services, not just selling them your consulting and your products, but actually helping people. And what's great about this type of growth mindset is that whenever you're talking with another individual who has a growth mindset, then tons of opportunities can emerge. You're never constrained. And we rarely ever talk about the how. It's the what if. What could be? What could we create together? What could we grow together? There's endless opportunities to make money. There's endless ways to skin the cat. There's endless ways to slice the pizza. I don't know if there's endless ways to slice the pizza, but you understand my point, is that growth-minded individuals, opportunity is everywhere. And I encourage you, if you're out there, if you're a founder or the entrepreneur curious, if you're out there, find people with growth mindsets. They're the type of people who will give you ideas that you haven't thought of. They're the type of people that will ask you questions. And what was great is I love the questions coming from my main man earlier this morning. He asked me lots of questions about growth. Where do you see it going in 2020? Where do you see the market? Where do you see are the needs of these types of clients, these types of personas? Like, these types of questions are juicy for someone like me with a growth mindset, because that allows me the freedom to communicate wholly and large visions around what is potentially possible. And then once we hook on one of those ideas, we can begin to functionally decompose those ideas into tactical initiative if necessary. Have a growth mindset. If I haven't defined it, I'll define it right now. Growth mindset is growing, bigger, doing, expanding. We are never out of resources. And I've said this many times on my podcast, the 50 Things You Didn't Learn in School, that series that I did. You're never out of resources. You're only out of resourcefulness. And so whenever people feel stuck, it's because they have a mindset of scarcity, a scarcity mindset, that there's not enough out there, that they can't get access to it. No. We live in the internet days, my friends. You have a chonagi, you have a cell phone, okay? You have a cell phone. You have access to the world now. You're never out of resources. You just have a scarcity mindset. You don't have a growth mindset. Get yourself out of the scarcity mindset, guys. There is so much out there. Actually, I was speaking on a little tangent. Sometimes with my daughter, my young daughter, sometimes I just wonder why she has this scarcity mindset. Like, whenever it comes to food, she's always trying to grab as much food as she can. We feed our kids enough. But it's interesting, this sometimes scarcity mindset she has, where she needs to grab as much of the food as she can toward it to make sure that she has the best. Maybe that's also because she's a young girl, a young lady, and she hasn't matured yet. But it's fascinating that and it's a great example in where I can see how that scarcity mindset in my daughter removes her from the potential of other ways of eating, or other ways of doing things, are limited, so you can't see that there's plenty of food. There's plenty of opportunity. You can get more later. You don't have to hoard it on your first, trip to get food. You don't have to throw it all on your plate. Like for me, whenever I go to a buffet, I just get a little bit. I taste it, and then I kind of figure out. It's like iterative development, right? I kind of figure out what I'm aiming for, what I'm figuring out. I try a couple meats, try a couple veggies, try a couple of the soups or whatever, and then I'm like, then I hone in on what works, right? For my daughter, she would go to a buffet and grab everything, and then realize that she didn't really like that X or didn't really like that Y. Small steps. No scarcity mindset, guys. A growth mindset. When you have a growth mindset, all things are possible. And so I hope for you guys this Friday, this weekend, that you have a growth mindset. Think about the opportunities that you have, and, if I may say, be grateful. Be grateful for what you have achieved, what you've done, and where you are today. I wrote this in our daily newsletter the other day, and some of you guys probably read it. But, given that every emotion, let's track with me here, guys. Given that every emotion on the emotional spectrum is equal, okay? Given that every emotion on the emotional spectrum is equal, choose contentment. Choose happiness. I mean, if you think about it, aren't our emotions one of those things that we can actually really control? Choose happiness. Choose contentment. And choose a growth mindset today and this year. I promise you, it'll open up opportunities. And the more people that you meet with minds, the more will happen. Guys, I love you. I love hanging out with you guys. I love talking with you guys. I love engaging with you guys. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you next week.